I'm happy to be streaming again today. And in case you didn't know, I'm actually doing 2 live streams today, one right now and one in 2.5 hours, which will feature the sequel to this game. It's a standalone sequel, it has a little bit more going on than this first base game, but they can both be played separately. And if you already played one, then that works, but if you haven't played both of them, that works too. Where did my chatbox go? Hi, Lycan. I think Dean was also planning to play. Hi, Dean. Always great to have you guys around. Alright, so we are playing Noch, which is the original German title. It has been released in English under the name Encore. The standalone sequel hasn't been released in English yet. And in Dutch, so where I live, it is called Keer op Keer. And they all kind of basically translate down to the same thing, which is like once more or again and again or anything like that. So Encore is a fitting translation in English, I think. And as usual, I'll be live streaming the solo mode and you guys get to play along if you'd like. I'm trying to pop my chat box back out. I accidentally killed my chat box. I want to post a link to the sheet in case you're playing along live and you don't have the sheet yet. There we go, I think I got it. There's a link to the sheet now in case you're just jumping in and would like to join. So what we will be doing in this game is we will be playing a certain amount of turns. Each letter will be 2 turns, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's 30 turns in the game. If you play multiplayer, you play until one player has completed 2 colors on their sheet. But in this case, we will play 30 turns and then tally up our points and see how well we did. So what I will do in a turn is roll these dice, and in a multiplayer game there's actually 6 dice, 3 white ones and 3 black ones. But in the solo mode you only use 4 of them. One half of the dice will determine a color and the other one will determine a number. So I can, for example, in this case, cross off 5 green or 5 blue spots. And you have to start in this one, the red letter H. We have to start somewhere here and then expand outwards to be able to reach other areas. We get points for completing a vertical line, which you can see here. In a multiplayer game, if you manage to complete a line before any other player, you get slightly more points, and then later on you would get less. Not as relevant in the solo game. I think it's just the top points for all of them. I felt personally, I feel like it would make a little bit more sense to go like the first half of the game it's the top row and then the second half it's the bottom row. But I'm pretty sure the rulebook doesn't say anything like that and it's just the top points for all of them. If I did mess that up, then my apologies. I have been demoing a lot of games over the past few weeks, but I'm pretty sure I'm not messing it up. If I did, I'm sorry. So that's what you get points for. You also get a point for having wildcards left over at the end of the game, and during the game the wildcards can be spent for either a number of your choice or a color of your choice. If you pick a number of your choice, the dice only go up to 5, the 6th is a wild card, so you can never pick number 6. If you do look at your sheet like this is an area of 6, this is an area of 6, which means you would need at least 2 turns to complete a particular area. Not crossing off a star is 2 minus points at the end of the game, so basically crossing off a star kind of gains you 2 points. So it's another way of getting points. And then completing a color is worth 5 points. If you do fill up 2 of the colors completely before the end of the game, then your game ends early, and every turn you would still have left would gain you 1 additional bonus point. And that's about all the rules, so we can give it a go now. It might be a little hard to distinguish between orange and red on this sheet. That's the case, I will put it closer to the camera so you guys can see. That's the case in real life, guys. This is not the most colorblind friendly game. This is really hard to distinguish. It works kind of okay in camera, but it's actually better on camera than it is in person. The fan-made sheet that I linked to has a little bit of a better color distinguish, a little bit better distinguished color, so hopefully it will be easier for you guys than it is on me. And if you can't do anything on your turn or you don't want to, then you just skip a turn. You don't do anything, you don't get any minus points for that, but you miss out on doing some useful stuff. So in this case I can pick 1 red, 1 blue, or between 1 and 5 in either one of these colors, but it would use a wild card. But then again, it does complete something quickly and it gives me access to some more areas I can't currently reach. So that's kind of what I have to debate between, if I want just one over here or if I'm going to go for maybe 4 red so that I get access to this green and this yellow area and this blue area, so I have some more options on my next turn. It is pretty early to use a wild card, but I think I'm alright with doing that because 1 is a pretty boring choice. So I think I'm okay with that. And that now means I still have access to everything in this column, but I now also have access to this green area, this blue one, this yellow one, and this green one. So I'm giving myself quite a few more options. I've used a wild card, so I've picked wild card red and chosen the number 4 for that. And that's the first turn. I need to remember to mark off the turn when I'm done. And next turn. Well, that's either a wild card or skipping a turn, no way around that. So I can either decide not to do anything this turn or use up another wild card. I think we're just gonna go for the other wild card. And remember, you can't pick 6, so this green area is 6 pieces tall, which means I can't fill that up entirely. And for example, if I do 4 green and I do it like this, then that creates 2 new areas. If I get 2 green, I can't do this. And you always have to do the exact number. In a lot of games you can do less. If you had like 4 green, you can say, oh, but I would prefer 3 green instead, and that would also be fine. In this game, that's not the case. You have to match the number exactly. Alright, so let's see. I can maybe do 5 green ones, but I think I'm okay with the 5 yellow here. And then I get access to a big red area because I can't currently access red, so it'd be nice to have access to that color again. And this would also gain me access to a little red area, but then if I roll too high of a number, I won't be able to place that. This is an area of 6, which means regardless of what number I roll, I would be able to place a red one. I cross off another wild card, and then time to roll. Oh, don't forget to mark the turn, so we now have played 2 turns, 1, 2. And now we're starting turn 3, 4 red. Well, my earlier plan paid off. And this is a good demonstration of what I just pointed out the previous round. If I decide to mark these 4, then I am left with 2 separate areas, which isn't good. So I'm gonna go mark the 4 red ones off like this. And now I have 2 red ones left here and a big orange area. And that's turn 3. As you can see, this plays pretty quickly. This is just like a nice little shorter game if you have like 15 minutes to kill. I don't think it's the most interesting solo game, to be honest. I don't really pull it out solo, but I do like it multiplayer. And in the multiplayer game, like I said, you have 6 dice, and then the active player gets to take one combination of their choice, and then everybody else gets to use the remaining 4 dice. And then you have a little bit of a race trying to complete columns first to get a little bit more points than the other players. So it is a little bit more interactive, and it's a really light and quick little game. So yeah, I definitely prefer this one multiplayer, but streaming it's easier to do solo modes. I can now pick 3 in a color of my choice using a wild card, 3 green, a number of my choice, remember not 6, only up to 5, in a color of my choice, it would take 2 wild cards, or a green up to 5, which only uses 1 wild card. 3 green works quite well for me. And that would be turn 4. Rolling. And if you're playing along live and I'm playing too quickly for you guys, please do tell me to slow down. I'm always happy to do that for you guys if need be. 1 or 2 orange or 1 or 2 wild card. And sometimes you want to use the wild card because, for example, if you see here, this is just 1 red one and it is a star, which would be like 2 minus points at the end if I don't cross it off. So it kind of spend a point and gain back 2 points. So it's still a gain to cross off this little red one. And it can be hard to get those single numbers rolled because it's really easy to roll numbers that are higher and then you're not allowed to place there. So I might actually consider doing that, but I have already used 2 wildcards and we're still really early on in the game, so I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to go with orange then. And the best area for me, I can access 4 different orange areas. This one would be possible because it's full right away, which is nice. But I think I prefer this one because it's 6 And remember, the dice only go up to 5, so I can't complete this one in a single turn. And these stars are better than the blank areas, so I'm gonna go for 2 orange ones here. And then later on I'm hoping for 4 orange to cross off that last one. Could have also decided to go for 1, so I would have different numbers, because I already have 4 orange here. It might have been better to leave 5 orange out. And in my experience, people tend to go for the higher numbers, because you want your sheet to become full. So it just makes sense. Alright, 3 or 5 yellow. By the way, I'm not sure if it shows on camera, I think it does. These are wooden dice, and especially my white ones have gone quite smudgy, so they aren't as pretty and clean anymore. I tend to take my rolling rides with me to restaurants and stuff, so they become dingy. Which is why, again, why I prefer the plastic dice, but this one has custom dice, so it wasn't as easy to replace them with regular D6s. I might make my own plastic ones at some point. Also, this is mean. I want to complete this one, but I need a 4 and I have 3 or 5. Mean. Oh, I forgot the turn for the last turn again, so 5. It's turn 6 already. Well, then I think the best thing is to... Oh no, I can't reach this yet. Okay, so in this case I either have to do 3 yellow or nothing, because I can't reach any of the other yellow spaces yet. Fine, I'll just go for 3. And if I never complete this, then it's better to complete this one, because it's 3 points and this one is only 2. So that's why I decided to leave out this one. There we go. Next turn. Well guys, I'm not rolling a whole lot of variety in single turns so far. 1 red or red in a number of my choice, but it can't be 5. Well, 1 red is great, because that crosses off this little single spot over here. That's an easy choice. I marked off the end of my turn, and now I'm rolling again. 1 blue or a whole bunch of wild cards again. Seriously, can we stop with these wild cards? What the heck is up with that? I'm gonna go wildcard blue. I can also go 1 in a color of my choice. If I still had this one left, I might have done it. This is also a good one to contemplate. But I think I prefer to place these in a way that I can reach some more areas. So I'm gonna go for wildcard blue and pick these 3 blue ones that I can reach. Oh, I could have actually already reached this, but only from this side. I prefer to go here if I don't get the full set immediately, and then work my way towards those higher columns. Next turn. 1 or 5 blue or red. I always call out the colors because especially the red and orange, it might be hard to see for you guys. So hopefully that will help. So this is going to be 5 red in my case. I could have also gone for 5 blue, but I'm prioritizing the outer edges because they're worth more points. 7, 8, 9. Marking off the end of my turn and rolling. 1 or 4 red. Well, that didn't pay off. The universe would like to tell me I chose poorly. And if you get that reference, you chose poorly, then awesome. Good for you. Okay, so 1 or 4 red, which is sucky because I want this one to be a 2. Or I can decide to spend another wild card. These wild cards are going way too quickly for my liking, but I do think in this case I would prefer this one over doing 1 and then having another solo spot. So I'm gonna go for this one. 1 or 4 red or wild card. Seriously? These dice are broken, you guys. I would like to file a complaint. But the person in our group of friends that we've jokingly dubbed the complaints department is sadly not at this livestream. Alright, well, this one. I would obviously prefer this one, but I can't reach it, so I have to cross off this one. And again, you can also skip a turn, which would be a possibility, but I'll just go for it. Oh, end of turn. 4 blue or 4 wild card. Well, like I said, this is one of those areas of 6 again, so it can never be completed in one go, so I could decide to go here. Then I can also reach this little yellow spot. But I can also already reach a big yellow area, so I don't think that's too necessary. This I can already reach that. I think I'm just gonna go for the 4 blue ones here, nice and easy. End of turn. I'm gonna at some point remember this before I try grabbing my dice, I promise. Or at least that's what I hope will happen. Maybe. 5 blue or 2 blue. Well, that's gonna be 5 blue over here. Or a wild card if you prefer. End of turn. Oh, well, we're happy you're here now anyway. And we're doing another live stream at like a little over 2 hours, so you can also try to join that one. And of course, this one will be up on Twitch for like 2 more weeks, so you can also watch it back later. If you need me to go over part of the rules again, just let me know and I will back up a bit. It's probably a little late to play along live because we've already played 12 turns, but let me know. Alright, 1 or 3 blue or 1 or 3 wild card. Well, 1 blue, because those ones can be a little tricky to get. And that's the end of turn 13. Plus, it's not like I've been the best at being on time this week, guys. I think this week might have been okay. But yeah, it happens that I start like 5 or 10 minutes late, especially when you live with 4 cats and then they try to destroy your setup right before going live. You guys must think my cats are so poorly behaved. I promise they're not. They just really, really like attention. And I don't know if you know this, but for the person I don't know your name. The person just jumping in chat, we are playing the sequel to this one in a little over 2 hours. I don't know if you've also played the sequel. It's a little different, a little bit more involved, but it keeps the same base concept. So, Jason, it's good to know. Your username was a little tricky to pronounce. Okay, 3 or 4 orange. But yeah, if you've never played the sequel or you just want to play it with us live, then we're doing that one in like 2 hours. It hasn't been released in English yet. I think it's only been released in Germany and the Netherlands so far, so I know not everybody has had a chance to play the sequel yet. So if you want to do that, feel free to join us for that. 2 or 3 orange. Seriously, I just rolled double orange already. Yay! Glad to hear that. Would love to see you again tonight then. Alright, 2 or 3 orange. In this case, it's either getting the star or getting a mole column. I think I'm just gonna go for this one. End of turn. I know the first time I played the sequel, I was like, what the heck am I doing? How are my turns going by so quickly? I feel like I can't get anything done. It's definitely interesting, that's for sure. I don't think I've actually had a chance to play the sequel multiplayer yet, because it arrived during quarantine. So I've really only played that one solo. I definitely think that one is more interesting solo than this one. This one for me gets still really quickly in the solo mode, but I do still really like it multiplayer. 1 yellow, 1 blue, or a number of your choice. Remember, not a 6, it can only go up to 5. Well, 1 yellow seems like a good call. End of turn. And like you're seeing here, I did complete a column. I can mark those points right away, but there's no rush in the solo mode, so I'll just tally up all my points at the end. And yeah, we've done the sequel in a solo live stream once before I started doing them on Twitch, so yeah, you're right. If you're friends with me in real life, you've done that one once, and I've done it twice, because I did a run through myself when it first arrived before we started live streaming. So I've only played the sequel twice myself, so definitely not as much as this one. I wonder how many plays were up for this one. It's quite a few at this point. I should check that on BGG. I usually look at my BG stats app, but that's on my phone. And guess what the camera's on? 5 blue. Wildcard blue. Wildcard 5 or double wildcard. What's with these wildcards? Really? Well, 5 blue it is. And in this case, I'm gonna leave this one open because I want to reach the star in case I can never get this one fully completed. I'd rather skip this one than the star. And I did start adjacent to a square I've already marked, so that's legal. Yay. Alright, rolling. 2 or 4, orange or red. And in the meantime, let me see if I can look up how many plays I have of this first base game, because I'm curious now. I can totally multitask, I promise. Alright, 2 or 4, orange or red. That's actually a tough choice. I have 4 orange over here, 4 orange over here, and 2 red over here, and they're all kind of awesome. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that? I'm pretty close to completing all of my blue ones. I only just noticed. That's what I get when I'm live streaming, guys. I'm way more focused on you guys and then I overlook all sorts of really obvious things. This one would be nice because it's already 2 points and it's very easy to turn into 4 more points. This one is nice because I can then reach the more blue spots and be more certain of completing all of the blue ones. But I think in this case I prefer this one anyway, because it gives me more variety. Now I still have 4 orange left, and if I mark the red ones, I'm left with having to get 4 orange twice, which is obviously statistically less likely. So I think this is better. And in case you hadn't heard yet, for tomorrow we're basically doing the same thing again. So one live stream at 7:30 and one at 10 p.m. But it will be clever and twice as clever tomorrow, which is a little bit more involved than this. And after that I will have to see. I am going to do live streams for the entire next week as well. So starting Monday at the 10 p.m. slot instead of the 7:30 one. So a little later than the streams I've done this week. 1 or 2 red or yellow. That's going to be 1 red. And then after that I'm going to have to see. I'm slowly starting to run out of roll and rides that work solo. I never thought that would happen, but that's what you get for streaming for a couple weeks. So yeah, we'll have to see what we're going to do after that. I would love to at one point with some of you guys do a live game of Mysterium where I show you guys the hints and you get to guess who the culprit is in the chat box. I think that would be fun. And I've also had some requests of maybe doing some solo playthroughs that you guys can watch along and comment on for some popular solo games. Like Marvel Champions has a really awesome solo mode, and maybe some of the Tiny Epic games in solo mode, especially Galaxies is really nice solo. So I'm also considering that, but those would obviously be a little less interactive than the full play-alongs. So we'll have to see if there's enough of a demand for that, but I think that might be nice to mix it up a bit. And it can be a helpful way to learn how to play those as well, because obviously in-store demos aren't really happening yet, so if you do want to know how to play something, that might be a nice alternate. The current turn is 4 or 5, blue or green. I think I'm gonna go for the 4 green then. Not that I can do 4 blue, but I might have wanted to do 4 or 5 green over here, but I think I like this better. I hope I haven't forgotten to mark off a turn while I was blabbering on. I hope Lycan or Dean will point it out to me if I have, because they are also playing along live and marking their turns. But I think after this turn we finished off this letter and we're moving on to letter K. I think I did that right. I don't think I missed any. And if I did, I think it should only be 1. One or 4, blue or wild card. Well, that's gonna be the 1 blue over here, obviously, in my case. Great! Lycan and Dean all say I marked my turns correctly. I think that's a first. Woohoo! And if not, we all did it equally wrong, so at least it's fair. 5 orange or 5 red. Well, that's gonna be a bust for me, because as I explained very early on in the game, you always have to do this exact number. You can't pick a lower amount, so I don't have 5 orange or red anywhere on my sheet, and it does have to be in one section. I can't say I will do 2 over here and 3 over here or something like that. They do all have to be together. So that's gonna be a skipped turn for me, but I still have to cross it off as 1 turn played. And then we're rolling again. 2 or wild card, yellow or blue. Oh, I so wish I could reach that. That's not happening. The 2 yellow would be nice. In this case, I might want to go for wild card yellow and get these 3 all crossed off. I think I'd prefer that at this point, because we're getting late in the game. And I still have a couple wild cards. I think I'm going to do that. I could have also decided to just do these 2, score these points, because this one doesn't score yet anyway. And who knows if I'm getting the last 2 orange ones. But I prefer to gamble on this. So that's what I did. End of this turn. Rolling again. 4 or 5, green or wild card. Well, they're gonna go here then, I suppose. And 5 makes more sense than 4. And I think I'm gonna curve the 5 that way because I can already reach the orange. And if I curve it upwards, I can also reach this yellow one. So that's 5 green, end of turn. Rolling. 1 or 2 yellow and blue. And the more you get towards the end of the game, the more it usually speeds up because you just have less and less choices. Oh darn, now I'm doubting if I did mark the end of the turn. I felt like I was playing that past turn so quickly that now I'm hesitant if I marked the turn correctly. But nobody's shouting at me yet in the comments, so we're gonna assume I did it right. Hopefully. Maybe. Also, I looked up how many times I've played this base game, and before today it was 57 times, so it's quite a bit. And I think only 3 or 4 of those plays were actually solo and the rest of it is multiplayer. It's one that my parents like to play. They don't really like board games all that much, and they find and if they do play board games, they like them to be short and quite simple. So most of the classics people grew up with, like Monopoly, are way too long for their liking. That probably turned them off board games. And then a lot of the more modern board games have quite a few options and they aren't really interested in that. They can do it, but they don't find it really enjoyable. So they prefer to stick to short ones like this or Quicks, for example. Or I think my mom will play Quinto if I ask her. My dad already finds Quinto to be too involved. 1 yellow. Oh, we can maybe do Quinto sometime with you guys in the chat box because that's only 3 dice and you guys can just call out your moves. That one might work. I don't think many people know that one. I think overseas a lot of people have heard of Quicks by this point, but I know in the US even Quicks isn't all that well known. So I think it might be a good idea to do that. 1 or 2 yellow or blue was this turn. I marked off 1 yellow and now we're rolling. 4 yellow or blue or a number of our choice, which still cannot be 6, so I can't mark off all of these. This one is definitely better than this one though, so I'm gonna go for 4 yellow over here. And in this case, I don't think I'm gonna complete this line anyway, so in this case I am gonna go for this, which would make me make 2 single yellows. But I think that's okay. This way I have a better chance of at least still scoring this line. And I immediately score this line too, so I think that's the best choice for now. Rolling. 2 or 4 yellow or green. And again, this means I cannot cross both of these off. These count as yellow ones. This would be a yellow 2. This would be a green 2. I'm gonna go for the green 4 because I'm really hoping I can get those blue ones crossed off, because that's both a star and 5 bonus points for completing blue. So that would be my priority right now. This one would also be okay because it's 4 points, so that might also not be bad. I think that one is better actually, because this one I can also get with a 5. It does mean I can't reach the blue yet though, so maybe I will regret this later on, but I'm gonna go for the easier points, the guaranteed points. And then we're rolling again. 3 orange or 3 wildcard or double wildcard. Really? Why? Why can't you be a 2? And why must you be so many wildcards? Stupid dice. Uh-oh, I just jinxed the dice gods. I offended them. This is gonna go horribly now, guys. So 2 orange, which could be a wild card and that would score me 3 points. Basically only 2 because I'm losing this. I'm actually considering the double wild card at this point, and I think I'm going to do it because it's only 2 more turns after this. I'm gonna use the double wild card, cross off all 5 green ones. That way I can now reach the blue one. I have 2 more turns to hopefully try and accomplish that. And if I complete both of these or this one, I complete an entire color, which is quite a few bonus points too. So in this case, I think that would be worth it. If I just needed the blue, I could have done it with a lower number, but this way I also have a chance at completing green. So I have 2 colors ready to be finished up. I think I prefer that. So let's go for that. 1 or 3 red or wild card. Well, that's likely going to be my last wild card for the green one so that I can score that. Unless there's a really good one for the red, but I don't see... No, I don't have that much red left. I could go for this one and maybe get that on the last round, and then I have 3 chances of scoring double. But in this case, I'm guaranteed to score a color completely. And I still have 1 more turn to hopefully get the blue one as well. So this is my preference, and then if that fails, I'm obviously hoping to get these ones for some points or this one for some points. So basically we want orange or blue for the last turn, or at least I do. I have no idea what the other guys that are playing along want, but that's what I want. 2 or 3, red or wild card. Well, that's not what I wanted because I don't have a wild card anymore. I would have liked it as a wild card, but no can do. So that's just going to be 3 red, which doesn't do anything, but might as well mark it. And that's the last turn. So now we're tallying points. This is for completing colors entirely. And remember, if you have completed 2 colors fully before that last round, you were supposed to end your game early. So I get 5 points for this. And now we're gonna go across these and see which ones have actually filled up. I have this one, this one, this one. These 2, not this one, but I have this one and this one. We tally up all of these. So that's 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I do not have any more wild cards left, and I get 2 minus points for having 1 star uncovered. So that is 19 plus 3 then actually. So that is 22. So that's it for me. 22 points. Let me know how you guys did. And as always, feel free to upload this to your social media and tag me. I'm known in those games on Facebook and Instagram. And that also goes for if you're playing this later instead of live. I will be back with you guys in about 2 hours to stream the sequel of this game. I know not all of you currently here are able to make it to that one, but if you are able to make it, I'd love to see you guys again. And if that's too late for you or you have plans or whatever, then maybe I'll see you at tomorrow's live stream. Oh, 31 points, that's pretty nice I think for the solo mode. Like I said, I don't play it an awful lot solo, so not super sure. I know there's like a ranking in the rulebook of how many stars you did, how well you did, but I don't have that one handy. I can see if I can pull it up real quick while Dean is tallying his points. Because of course we also would like to know how Dean did. Yeah, and if you don't feel like playing for the next one, you're always willing to just stick around a bit and just hang out and chat. Or give up halfway through. Whatever you want, really. But I'm always happy to see you guys around if you're available. And I do know there's a couple of regular viewers that can never make it to my streams live, which is why we're trying the slightly later time slot for the rest of the week. And I know some of them have been playing later in their replays and then sending me some of their scores, which I really appreciate. Okay, I pulled up the ranking. So I have 22 points, and that says classy, nice job, which is 2.5 stars out of 4 stars. And Lycan's ranking is 3 stars out of 4 stars, and it says excellent, what a terrific score. I'll send you guys the picture of that if I can pull it up real quick, because I think that's fun to watch. Let me get that solo table out. Lycan, I tossed it in the Discord server if you can, or at least I'm sending it to you. If you can link to that in the chat, that'd be great, because I really can't reach my keyboard all that well when I'm live streaming. I'll send it to both you and Dean, and then one of you can toss the link in there, whichever one of you guys is quicker. Ah, it's there, I see. Yay. And Dean only has 13. And for 13 it says, oh, but you're at least in yellow. You have 1.5 star, and it says you're, oh no, you even above that. It says you still have 1.5 star, and it says good, but you could do better. The ranking below that said you're getting there. So hey, you're already there. Well played, you guys. And I will see some of you in 2 hours. Thanks for watching as always. I really appreciate it. Bye everybody. See you in a bit.